It is now my pleasure to ask Jack Banks to speak to the class of 2024.
Class of 2024, traditionally commencement speeches are spoken by the valedictorian. I stand before you not as your valedictorian, not as a star athlete, but as a friend. Although there's a possibility that you and I have not had an interaction before, I want to speak about the importance of the friendships we have made at our times at SHS. Just 4 years ago, we were finishing up our 8th grade year. After spring break, we did not go back to school for 175 days. It's safe to say no one knew what to expect. Coming into our freshman year, we went to school in person just 2 days a week. Optionally, you could do online school through Google Meets. Masks were mandated, class sizes were cut in half, and students were separated from each other. Personally, school didn't even feel real our 9th grade year. How could someone thrive socially and academically in an environment like this? At times, we were told we could not go to school in person and had to do classes through a Google Meet. I remember taking reading acceleration with Miss Simborski, who is an amazing teacher, by the way. Although I could not be there in person with my classmates, and I may not have a bunch of memories from that class or year, I still remember joking around with my fellow Spartans over a Google Meet every morning. In isolation, we still found humor and friendship. By the time we all made it to our sophomore year, school had gone back to normal for the most part. Masks were mandated for a portion of the year, but school was back fully in person. I took some memorable classes, and I know my fellow Spartans did as well. Some of those classes were Reading, Writing, and Reporting, aka Spartan Spin with Mr. Wolf and Mrs. Kalin, Principles of Engineering with Mr. Gillespie, and Biology with Mr. Sims. I made so many new friends in those classes, too many to talk about them all, but I do have to mention a couple people. I connected with 2 brothers from South Africa, Kaine and Kanile. These 2 brothers offered a different kind of friendship. They wanted to see their peers grow. They brightened a room like no other. Anyone who's had an interaction with Kaine or Kanile knows exactly what I'm talking about. There were so many different types of students that took spin. Through workshopping, I met so many new people who I would never find myself talking to. One of those classmates in spin who I had made friends with through the class had fallen very ill and could not come back to school for weeks. When she started coming back to school, I made it a point to try to cheer her up and make her laugh. I really started to understand the importance of friendship during this time. According to Ralph Waldo Emerson, the only reward of virtue is virtue. The only way to have a friend is to be one. One of the greatest virtues of friendship is connection found in things like art, athleticism, and academia. I found this true my junior year through digital photography with Mrs. White, who inspired the class to look at their passions as art. I began to see skateboarding and the film process of it as an art. I realized school can be a creative outlet, not just a place of academia. However, for some, scholarship is the basis of their connection to friends and teachers. Maybe it's mock trial, forensics, Harvard Model UN, or many of the other academic clubs SHS offers. I am inspired by my class of 2024 every day. If you know where to look, our school is full of inspiration. I have seen so much camaraderie in our sports teams, so much kindness shared between students and teachers alike. Friendship can expand past your peers. I learned this my senior year through my good friend Andy Wolf, my old Spartan spin teacher who had recently become an instructional coach. I got an email from him one day asking me if I wanted to meet and talk about what my plans were after high school. We listened to music and reminisced on Spartan Spin my sophomore year and discussed the plans that I did not have and still do not have for college. But I have a friend for life, and that's a plan. As I finish yapping, I want to give you a moment to reflect on the friendships and connections you have made at SHS. Who helped you during moments of isolation? What kinds of people have you connected with at SHS? Who helped you start thinking differently? Class of 2024, I want to think about your talents and where you have found community, whether it was in the theater, on the field, or in a classroom. And finally, what teachers and coaches have had an impact on you? Take a moment to appreciate them and try to find a minute to express your gratitude. Friends, as we graduate, I congratulate you and wish you a good summer. Woo!